Hey, like, share, and subscribe. So, Keith Lee made his Raw debut on August the 24th, and they changed some things, and people kind of lost their minds. There was a lot of disappointment. Um, I was very disappointed as well, but at the same time, it was night one. It was night one, and it's not off to a good start. Let's say that. So, right out of the gate, they changed Keith Lee's theme music. Wasn't a fan of that. Didn't see why they had to do that. I would think like that would be one of the things not to change. They usually I don't know have any idea why they decide to when they bring people up from NXT they want to tweak the theme song like they did it with Ricochet when they added like the and then they added the creaking door to the Aleister Black theme and it's kind of like it's so unnecessary. Like you don't need to make things feel bigger. It's already big. Like you don't need to change it. And then they changed his theme song not to something that was better or like a different person rapping his theme song. It's like some generic. It's like the original Samoa Joe theme song. Like if you remember Samoa Joe when he first came to NXT and he had it, just like some bullshit like that. You're like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? And that was the same thing. I was kind of like, what the fuck is this? I don't want to hear this. And then the worst thing about it is they trolled you by it being the same, the beginning at the same. The beginning is the same. Oh, bask in his glory. Then it go, doo, 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 doo. And it's like, what the fuck? It goes completely left. It's like, it's so stupid. It's such a stupid move. Then, of course, they did some aesthetic changes. They made him shave his beard. So now he's got the little thing under the lip. I always hate when men have that. Like I hate when men have that little dot of hair under their lip. It's such a tragedy. That's so corny. I hate that so much. And now Keith Lee is rocking that. I don't get that. I don't understand that. So he got like this big face now. And whatever, whatever. He's a big cool dude with the beard and now he's just got this dot of hair under his lip. I'm just like, wow. But I can't make a big deal about that, man, because I don't. But still, he just kind of looked cooler and more sophisticated with the beard. And then, of course, a lot of people are upset because he ended up wearing essentially a shirt and the shorts that are kind of split up the side. I think they kind of like Samoa Joe had when he first came to NXT. Now we already know why he's wearing the shirt because he's a fat guy. That's classic WWE. That should not come as a surprise to anybody. I thought it was kind of a surprise because he hadn't been wearing a shirt in NXT, so that was a bit weird that he had to wear a shirt. But they always make fat people wear shirts, man. I mean, I think Otis is the only one walking around now without a shirt on, and that's part of him being a fat goof. Him being like, "Oh yeah," and just doing that. So I guess they felt they had to cover him up until he lose some weight or something like that. But they brought him in at the top because he's facing Randy Orton. So he did his match with Randy Orton. It was not bad. Orton bumped really well but Orton sold really good for him. Not going to lie to you. The match was very short, and Keith Lee lost, but we'll get to that in a minute. Keith Lee cut promos. His promos were not bad. But the match was decent. Orton really put him over strong. So they're not, trying to turn him into a goof or anything like that. He was taken seriously and he came right in at the top facing Randy Orton. But this is another thing that they've done a lot of in WWE. Like they brought Kevin Owens in right at the top. He was wrestling John Cena. And then he fell off a cliff right after that. Shinsuke Nakamura, same thing. He came in at pretty much at the top, beat Cena and Orton just to go on to lose to Jinder Mahal. They have a track record. And they didn't really change that much when it came to Nakamura, even though they did cover him up and made him wear that gold dust suit. So he did well in the match. The match itself was fine. It ended in disqualification. So people are like, he lost. Oh my God, he lost. Like he got pinned or something. He got disqualified. He got disqualified because Drew McIntyre came down to the ring and hit Randy Orton from behind because Orton had kicked him in the head twice. They kind of burying the punt now. I'm not a fan of that. I don't want to go off topic too much because I want to talk about Keith Lee, but Randy Orton shouldn't have had to kick Drew McIntyre in the head 3 times to get this injury angle because he only had to kick CM Punk once. And I get that they're trying to put McIntyre over, but you don't really. She shouldn't have to punch you 3 times, dog. Come on. But so McIntyre gets Keith Lee disqualified. Keith Lee wasn't mad about it because he kind of understood. McIntyre had gotten kicked in the head twice, and so they got into a fight again. And Orton then kicked McIntyre in the head for a 3rd time. And now Keith Lee is sort of motivated to really have a real match with Randy Orton at Payback. So this Sunday is going to be Orton and Keith Lee because I'm guessing they're going to do Drew McIntyre can't perform. So they're elevating Keith Lee up to being McIntyre's replacement. So that's a pretty good spot if you want to look at it objectively. It's a pretty good spot. But the changes that he had to go through were really unnecessary. And it did make him look bad. It kind of downgraded him a bit. And I'm not a fan of that. And I don't know. I know the shirt is aesthetics and that sort of thing. But it just seems like the guy went from being in the main event of NXT literally 2 days ago. 2 days prior, I should say. Literally 2 days prior. He looked massive. He looked great. Great performer. Match wasn't all that great because apparently Karrion Kross got injured, so that's why the match wasn't all that good. But he looked awesome just 2 days prior, and he looked washed up 2 days later. They didn't maximize any of the things that they had with him. And maybe they'll change some more things because, Payback is Sunday. Maybe they'll look, this is WWE, man. I'm going way too far. They're not going to change a damn thing. Because they're going to try to force him to get over with behind the 8 ball. They may change his theme music back if he gets back over or something like that. But there's no way of knowing, and it's kind of strange because this is the same Keith Lee that they put over big at the Survivor Series. It's the same Keith Lee they put over big at the Royal Rumble, where even Brock was selling for him. Because they had Roman sell for him, they had Brock sell for him, they had Orton sell for him. So they got plans, but I guess they just kind of want to make him earn it. And Keith Lee is in his mid to late 30s. He's not a spring chicken. So you don't want to put him back too far behind the 8 ball. So what I want to do is I want to sit here and I want to think about whether he beats Randy Orton outright or not. Something tells me he probably won't, and that would make me as angry as you see like the random guy on Twitter. Like I try to be more measured in my responses, especially when it's day 1. It's literally the first day. I don't want to be like, he's ruined. Oh my God, he's ruined. It's like, come on. The worst thing they did was change his theme music. That was the worst thing they did. Him putting him in the shirt and the shorts is probably not. It's not aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't look like a pro wrestler. He kind of looks like a fat guy in a shirt and shorts. And some people say it looks like a skirt. And to be quite honest, putting some thought into it, kind of does look like a skirt. Kind of does. That's the same thing with Samoa Joe. But Samoa Joe was able to wrestle without a shirt on. So, maybe they'll realize that it's not what we want it to be, and they'll change it back. But who knows, man? This is we're on the Vince McMahon roller coaster, dog. And sometimes it's a fucking demon drop. I mean, it just is what it is. Sometimes it's the Calypso where he's just going in circles and circles and circles. That's how I felt like Raw was, where SummerSlam ended no storylines. There were no storylines that ended at SummerSlam. We pretty much just continuing everything. So you're just on the Calypso. You're just going around and round and round. It's like the Ferris wheel, And sometimes it's the fucking demon drop where you go all the way to the top and you come all the way back down, just crash straight back down. It's like shit. And, who knows? But I'm not going to overreact. I think the changes were stupid. They were unnecessary. But I'm not going to overreact and say that his career has been ruined or he's been fucked up or anything like that. Because as long as people still like him, and he can still perform and cut promos and be a good in-ring performer, I think that he'll be fine. I was actually concerned that they may do something even dumber, which is just bring him in and put him straight against Drew McIntyre, which I did not like. I did not like that idea at all. Because even if he had won the title or something like that, it'd have been too fast, and then people would have been like, "He got the rocket put to him," and then that would have made people dislike him. So I think that making him a sympathetic character by changing all these things is kind of it does keep the fans in somewhat engaged in you. It's a psychological thing, but obviously, as we've seen, they don't give it back. It'd have been one thing if they changed Nakamura's theme song while he was a heel, even though he still is a heel, and then over time it gave the theme song back. Like, they won't even give you Jeff Hardy's theme song back. They won't give you Sheamus's theme song back. Shelton Benjamin wanted his theme song back. They won't give it to him. You know, so I don't think that we can. That, to me, that's the biggest loss is his theme song. That fucking sucks. That's some disappointing shit right there. Like, I can learn to live with the him wrestling in the shirt or whatever. I can get over that. I don't like the idea that it's a skin tight shirt, and I think that's what's a lot of people said it was like Cassius Ohno, Chris Hero. They made him wrestle in basketball jerseys and stuff. I'm like, you can wrestle in a shirt. Some guys wrestle in shirts, but it's not. It doesn't look like that. Like, it was tucked in. So, like, you could see his gut even more because it was tucked in. So he was like, no, like, put him in a shirt that's like maybe his own shirt that he's supposed to be selling, like Kevin Owens. Like, Kevin Owens wrestles in a shirt, but it's like his T-shirts that he's gonna, that he's trying to sell. So you just turned him into a billboard, essentially, in order to hide his fat body, And, they kind of do the same thing with Otis, I think, where they kind of put him in these shirts. And, why not do that same thing with Keith Lee? When you put him in a shirt, I'm pretty sure he got some shirts from NXT or something like that, and you put him in one of those and a big one, make maybe he looks like to me maybe a 5X. Put him in one of them big 5X shirts, and so it's not tight and it doesn't look like shit, And then people won't notice. I mean, the shorts are not that bad. The shorts looked really bad because of the shirt. Because the shirt was tucked into the shorts. So that's some god-awful shit, man. That is some god-awful shit. But that's some god-awful shit. That shit's bad. But what did you think about Keith Lee's debut? I think overall it was the shits because of all the changes. But he did well, and Orton did well. So, maybe he'll be able to bounce back and these things won't matter as much. But I'm interested in where he's at in 2 months from now. Because if you start at the top, you can't go nowhere but down. So, maybe we're looking at Keith Lee versus Lashley for the U.S. title in, 2 months or something like that, which will be fine. It's not Randy Orton or anything like that. It's not, being in a feud that involves Drew McIntyre. But that'll be a solid spot, at least for a little while until, you're ready to move him up, I guess, if he's ever going to move up. But we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.